Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Urban Libertarian. It's March 31st, 2017, and I'm reporting to you from deep within the bowels of the crazy liberal beast of California. And I was going on Google. I went to do some Googling, and I look at this picture. I'm like, what the hell is this, like the coexist thing? What is this? Right? I'm like, this is a weird drawing. What is this, right? So I'm like, all right. I click it, and then it's all these things come up that apparently it's the Doodle Google contest, and this girl won it. So that's what I'm going to talk about right now. And I'm not really going to rip into the girl that much because she is a teenager, and I actually agree with her message. I just don't really agree with how it's being played out, and I actually think the other student should have won it. Let me see what you think. I'm going to go through that. I'm going to go through this article, and then I think this guy should have won right here, and I'll explain. And I'll show you the other students, the finalists, and then, I don't know, let me see, tell me what you think. Maybe you like the other ones. So I tried to find some articles on this, and then the Washington Post had like the most informative, because like nothing really said much except for this girl, Sarah Harrison from Connecticut. She's a high school kid, and I guess the concept was what I see for the future, right? So that's another thing. Keep that in mind for the future, right? Why can't it be in the present? So her title was A Peaceful Future, and it has these characters here, which we'll get into, which I thought is very strange. Still don't know what E equals means. Tried to look that one up, and I just got nothing. So here's her statement, and actually I agree with it. When I started, I was thinking of how there's a lot of animosity towards diverse communities of people in the world right now. So I wanted to draw something that I hoped would show that we could all get along well, and that it's possible for us to be happy with each other. She added, you don't know what they've been through, and they don't know what you've been through, so we all deserve respect from each other. And, it's pretty agreeable. I think the only thing she's missing is it's not like right now. That's just the way the world is. I don't want to crush her dreams, but it's not that there's a lot of animosity between diverse communities. Now, it's always been that way, right? But anyway, so she's going to win $30,000 towards a scholarship, which is cool, and she's going to Google's headquarters. But I think this one should have won, and we can look at there were four national finalists, which included Lucian Bell, a third grader at John Eaton Elementary. Congratulations. I don't know if somehow if you can get a hold of me, I will give you a prize, because I think you totally deserve to win, because the way you're talking about recycling and all the trash that's related to computers and devices, and I think Google didn't pick it because they probably don't want to talk about the bad side of cyber stuff, electronics, and all that crap. That's what I'm thinking. So I know you're only in third grade. You probably shouldn't hear me saying crap and stuff like that, but if your parents are around and listening, I will give you a prize. So if you can get a hold of me, I will give you something. So let's go through. This is the four nationals. So you pick this. Click this, and this is what you get. It's pretty cool. They got a little video. And don't get me wrong, I'm like, for a brighter future, for coexisting and all that, in theory, it's awesome. And then it can actually be practiced in reality. But it's a little off. Especially this one kid. Watch this.
The future, it's a time of innovation.
That's actually really cool. I think, artistically, this one's one of the cooler ones. I always like that with like the space. And I mean, when you think of the future, right? You always think, it's the monorail here. You can check that out at Disneyland. There's my boy right there, or girl. I don't know, Lucian. I don't know what kind of name that is, but there's my kid.
What I see for the future are cities.
Cool, floating cities. Very Star Wars.
Where plants are as abundant as people.
I don't know if you want plants in as abundant as people, because then maybe plants would eat the people. You get like big Venus flytraps or something.
People and animals living in harmony. I'm pretty hopeful about that.
Restore our planet and to just really take
I'll get into this one. This one's great.
care of it, because it's the only one we have.
It's also when we'll have a better understanding of our world and the people around us.
we're just a little bit nicer, it can go a long, long way.
So this one I think is cool. This kid wants to bring extinct animals back, sort of like a Jurassic Park, which probably would not end very well. So it says, my vision for the future is the return of extinct animals. Very cool, though. I admire it. My drawing expresses how they would be brought back to life and eventually adapt to the world of the future. From left to right, woolly mammoth. That would be cool, seeing giant woolly mammoths running around. The dodo bird. I think that one just died because it was like, there's actually some good documentaries on that. The passenger pigeon, the dinosaur. Oh, there we go. The Tasmanian tiger. That would make some interesting YouTube videos. And the saber-toothed cat. That one too. I've seen that one at the LA Zoo. The thing's like 15 feet long or something ridiculous. Going to the next. The future is love. When you think about when I think about what I see in the future, my heart lands on simply love. The perfect letters, LOVE, could change the world. My watercolor and pen creation depicts a diverse, loving community willing to help and be kind to each other. I hope you enjoy. That's one of the purest, that's ultimately, not to get too cheesy, but that's ultimately the answer, is this pure white love of everybody, in like a nirvanic type situation, but I'm not sure if that's quite possible. But I like it. I like the idea. I see the world as a safe, healthy, and energy efficient. This one's, I like the UFOs. A little spaceship going on here is pretty cool. The time machine school is attached to the energy efficient power generator. Mobile food producer that generates multiple cells from one cell. Clean water produced from air. Reusable metal made from garbage. I like that. That's actually good. Recycling. Sure, why not, I guess. And mobile hospital for emergencies will make Earth safe and healthy. The mobile hospital. That's kind of cool. I know China has mobile execution vans, but mobile hospitals, instead of killing people, saving people, kids onto something good. I like it. Now here's the one that I think should have won, is the e-waste Google. In the future, we will need to turn our trash into treasure. E-waste has lots of things we can recycle. Gold, that is true. Copper, etc. This doodle is from a salvaged DVR. And that is very true. There's lots of stuff you can salvage. Gold, there's lots of precious metals in computers. You can go like on eBay and all around the internet, and people, and even YouTube videos. You can watch the YouTube videos. You can actually do it yourself. It's going to take a lot of work and some dangerous chemicals, and you know what you're doing. But yeah, there's a lot of precious metals in there. But I think what the main thing is, there's a lot of wasteful stuff that's actually not good for the environment, like these plastics and this whole board and stuff. I'm sure it's not good. So that's kind of an issue. But I know, at least in California, of course, this progressive state, they charge you some tax when you buy your products. And I think, yeah, that's pretty much it. So going back to, let's just go back to this. So now I want to talk about this picture because it's kind of weird, and I get it. Look, I just would, my gripe with it is I think that it's forced, and I don't need a 17-year-old, no disrespect, to tell me, or Google to tell me that we all need to get along. I think it's something that if you have a culture and a country that's based on the individual and law and respect for each other and a little bit of that cheesy love stuff, that helps. And people have to be moral, and I don't mean you don't have to be religious, but you need to be moral and trustworthy and and kind. And it's really hard, especially those words don't describe Los Angeles, right? It's something to achieve, but in this, what is this? These little devil horns in the background's kind of weird. Anyway, let's go from left to right. So I don't know if that's, no disrespect, because I don't know if that's a male or female. I don't know what you're supposed to say, but it's got like big doughy eyes. So yeah, so I think that's trying to say, hey, be cool to people who have some kind of disability, and I'm all for that. Why not? But I don't really need somebody to tell me that. It's a little, I don't know. And then gay Google, I guess, next to the Muslim. So I'm not sure about that. That I don't know. Like I'm assuming gay people are accepting of Muslims. I don't know. I don't know if this girl's looked in the news to see what's going on in the Middle East, how Muslims over there are treating gay people. It's not very well. As Trump was saying, they're throwing gays off buildings. It's true. I've seen it. It's disgusting, and that's no way. You shouldn't treat people like that. Which leads me to this. I want to talk about so. It reminded me of this coexist is obviously which that girl's going with. She's going for this kind of coexist thing, and that's cool. And I it would be cool if everybody gets along. The problem is when you come to intolerance. And I saw this shirt, and I refuse to coexist with people who want to behead me, and it's kind of it reminds me of Team America right at the end, and it obviously isn't child friendly, but they talks about dicks, pussies, and assholes, right? And sometimes you got to be a dick so the assholes don't shit all over the pussies and dicks and all this stuff, right? Anyway, watch that if you haven't seen it. It's you can't. How do you fight intolerance? You can't fight intolerance with intolerance. You have to fight intolerance with intolerance, or else if you're tolerant of intolerance, then you're gonna get trampled over. So I think there's some issues with religion because. And I'm not just talking about the Muslims, but the Jewish and I think the little Christian girl, they sometimes have problems with gays. Although in the west side of Los Angeles, there are lots of gays and Jews that seem to coexist with each other. So I don't think Judaism really has any. I mean, I'm sure the Orthodox probably aren't really too approving of it, and that's what the point is like it depends on how quote unquote hardcore or real religious you are. And in America, I think a lot of that we don't even need this. It's just by living here, you kind of just, I don't know, melt. It is that melting pot, I guess, in that sense, unless you're really, it just depends, unless your household's like really super demanding and almost like cult-like, which some religions tend to be. That's why I'm not really into it. So this picture seems a little out of place to me, especially these two together. It's just, and I know that there are some, because I did some research on this. There are some. It is mostly in the West. Some Islamic groups that are pro or okay or saying that they're okay with gay people. But come on, that's not. It's not even. It's a huge minority. It's a huge minority, and the punishment is death, and that's obviously wrong. So I don't know about that. So you've got this Jewish girl, I guess, and I don't know what this. I guess that transgender boy girl. I don't know what that means. I've never. This is kind of strange to me. This Christian girl, and then what is this? E equals the MC squared. E equals, if anybody can tell me if that's like a real thing, like there's some kind of E equals people that like are non-binary or whatever that stuff is, please let me know, because I have no idea what that means. And then I guess this means be kind to older people or people that have bad knees. Yeah, that's cool. But the point is we don't need people to tell us this, and it's just so strange growing up here in Southern California. No one had to tell me that you're different and you need to mix with people who aren't this and all that. It's just growing up, it's no one ever talked about it. We just kind of hung out with each other, and we were naturally tolerant. And I don't think it seems that this has kind of almost become a problem. Is like, why do you have to wear this label? Like, why do you have to like I'm gay and I'm cool with you being Muslim and you're being Jewish and all this stuff? It's like, I don't know. I know maybe I'm reading into it too much. It's just a little off-putting. And this is kind of weird too. These little shadow devil stuffs. That's a little weird. But I think the point is if you live in a society that's free and the individual is respected, and there's no like special rights for anybody, because even if they are, sure, they're all getting along, like the gays, the Muslims, the Christians, the non-binary cross-genders, they're all getting screwed over by policies, by government. You know, if they have like a free speech issue, like what's going on in California, which I want to make a video about. I forgot his name. One of the representatives in Monterey Park, I think he just pulled the bill that was in the news. So he's not saying if he's taken out, but he tried to make this like law against fake news. So they're against free speech in California. So they're against the First Amendment. They're against the Second Amendment. They're trying to tax everybody to death, and they're losing. Now I'm getting off on the Democrats in California, but I mean, it's true, is that the Democrats are like, even, what was it? I saw that most people don't agree with how they're handling the sanctuary city stuff. The people don't want the government of California to fight with the federal government and risk like screwing over the pension funds and all this stuff, because that's what they're doing in their act. It's ridiculous. I think a lot of people, whether they agree with the law, they don't want them fighting like that. They have to come to some solution, but that's not it. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm going on and on, so I'm going to stop.